Let's say you're out in the woods cutting along, cutting some tree down, you run out of gas. You want to mix up your gas, where this is 2.6 fluid ounces to 1 gallon of gas. Your bar oil, make sure you get the good stuff. And every time you run out of gas, fill it up, fill up with oil. And while you're out there, go ahead and tip off the blades. They should come with a rat tail file. And all you're doing is working up those gullets and those working points. We'll talk about those in a little bit. When you're doing that, you don't want to try and cut it like this. All you're doing is pushing one direction and stay consistent. Anytime you're out there using your chainsaw, if you cut through your log and you hit the dirt, you've almost guaranteed that your blade is dull. If you hit a nail, if you hit some kind of fencing that's stuck in the tree, or something like this. I've taken at the root system, it's got dirt all through here, even got gravel. Once you even touch gravel with the chain, it sparks and it's dull. So I had to get pretty good at sharpening these chains, so I'll show you how I did that.
But first it's important to understand the pieces of the tooth and how they work together. So the rake, it doesn't do any cutting at all. It just sets the depth for the tooth. If you've worked the chain over time and you've ground down the teeth, the rake has to be ground down so that it matches that properly. The side wall is on the edge of the chain. It does its cutting over there. The working corner is the first piece to come in contact with the wood. So it has to be really sharp. Then the chisel itself finishes the cut at an angle. And usually your chainsaw box will tell you what angle that is. Over time, these rakes, like I say, they just stand too proud. The chisels get damaged and nicked. And so I want to show you the process I use to sharpen them up.
So let's go ahead and get this chain off of here and we'll get it cleaned up. Show you how I do that. If I had a solvent tank, I think that'd be fantastic, but not like you keep one of those around the house. I have learned that little Folgers can makes for a great place to put it, and seafoam does a great job for cleaning up all the dirt and grime and carbon and all that stuff that's stuck in there. So I'm going to let that just soak in there for a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and clean off some of the dust around here. That sprocket cleaned up. All right, we've been soaking our chain a while. Let's go ahead and pull it out. We'll get it dried off and we'll get it sharpened up. All right, we got the chain off of here. We've got it cleaned up. Let's take a look at it. I can see here I've got a green master link. These are steel chains. They come in green. They come in yellow. The yellows are more aggressive, and I think that just means that their rake is cut a little lower, so that exposes more teeth. I can tell by looking at this box that the wall edge cutter is 3/16 on the gullet. And I'm supposed to sharpen this at 30 degrees as far as the upper chisel and the working corner. I can also see I have 68 teeth, so 34 go one way, 34 go the other, so let's keep that in mind. I used to use a Dremel tool to sharpen up these teeth. So you'd come in here with this and you'd hit it at this angle. There's a line back here, you want to kind of go parallel with that line. The problem I had was that these bits wear down really fast, and even if you get a new one, over time your teeth wear down. So what you're really doing is you're sharpening the side wall, but you're not getting the working corner and you're not getting the chisel. You're just getting down deep on that tooth. So I had to figure out some way to come in here and sharpen up that chisel and give myself a good working corner. So I'll show you what I ended up doing. So I ended up buying this chainsaw sharpener, I think it's Northern Tools, for 30 bucks. I figured you can buy a new chain for 20 bucks. It's even more expensive. It's like $22 to have one professionally sharpened. So for 30 bucks, if I do a chain and a half, I'm broke even. So I thought it was money well spent. But to use this, you just, I've got my master link set here. I got my angle set at 30. I'm going to pull back against this little tab, and I can adjust how much it's going to hit on this tooth. You don't want to be blazing this thing orange because the teeth will lose their temper. So just grind them a little bit. You can always take a little bit more off if you need to. So that ended up getting the edge, the working corner, the gullet, and the side wall all at the same time. Pretty nice. So basically you're done with that one. Come to your next one. You're going to do them all that way. When you come back around, you swing it the other way at 30 degrees. And you sharpen up all of those. So when I've done all 64 teeth, I like to finish it off with a finishing file. Again, I'm just pushing forward. I'm not pulling backwards against it. I'll do all in one direction. And then when I'm done with all those, I'll come back and I'll do all of them in the other direction. You can either pull it backwards, or I actually prefer to swap the chain around. I'll show you. So it's swapped around. I'm going to push it going this way on all of these teeth. Boring to watch, so I'll quit. Next thing is to set the rake. That's what this thing is for. And what I want to do is to put it on here and see if this rake is standing too proud. So I've covered the tooth over here. I see how much rake is standing up. This has a little bit sticking up on it, so we're going to get that off of there. If you get bored of doing this little flat tail file, this whole set costs about $5. If you got an angle grinder, you can just kind of grind it down a little bit, and it'll be faster. As you wear your teeth down, you'll also need to grind this rake down. That way your teeth can still bite the wood. So when you've done that, you've got a sharp chain.